Federal High Court sitting in Abuja has acquitted and discharged former head of service Stephen Oronsaye of a 22-count charge of fraud. The court held that no credible evidence was presented by the 21 witnesses called by the EFCC to link Mr. Oronsaye with the charges. Judiciary correspondent Celestina Area reports.
Stephen Oronsaye and his co-defendants were first arraigned in 2015 and they pleaded not guilty to the charges before Gabriel Kolawole, then a judge of the Federal High Court in Abuja. They were to take a new plea following the amendment of the charges by the EFCC on 16 February 2016, when the case was transferred to Justice John Soho, another judge who later rose to become the current chief judge of the court. On 1 March 2016, Justice Soho said he realized the case was reassigned to him in error. Justice Kolawole, who continued hearing the case, was later elevated to the Court of Appeal bench. The case was then reassigned to Justice Iyank Eko. In February 2022, the Anti-Graft Agency closed its case before Justice Eko with its 21 witnesses. Thereafter, Mr. Oronsaye and his co-defendants opened their defense to the 49 charges of money laundering involving 2 billion naira, which was later dropped to a 22-count charge. The EFCC had alleged in the charges that the defendants siphoned the money through a biometric enrollment contract purportedly for the reform of the civil service pension system. Delivering judgment, Justice Iyank Eko held that the prosecution suppressed material evidence by not informing the court that Abdulrasheed Maina, who was a defendant in the case and also an important figure when the suit, was facing trial at another court and had been convicted. The EFCC had said Mr. Maina was at large, but in real sense was facing trial at the Federal High Court, Abuja. The court held that the fourth and fifth defendants, who are corporate entities, had already been warned of by others of a court of competent jurisdiction and as such has no life before the court. The prosecution first, second and fourth witnesses, who were compliance officers with different banks, in their evidence in chief stated that there was no payments made to Mr. Oronsaye or on his behalf. The accounting officer for procurement entities is the permanent secretary. The prosecution has not said why Mr. Oronsaye is being held for duties carried out by the permanent secretary.
It's unfortunate that Nigerians have been victimized by the authorities. The investigators should do proper investigation before bringing people to court.
Not a single count was linked to me, so I gave God all the glory.
For a trial that lasted for 8 years and finally come to an end today, the court discovered through the evidence of Mr. Oronsaye that the case the EFCC had against him was that of a witch hunt and malicious prosecution. The court said from its findings that the EFCC case against Mr. Oronsaye started in 2013, where he supported a bill for the creation of the Independent Nigerian Financial Intelligence Unit outside the EFCC, with the EFCC opposed to. After the bill was assented to, the EFCC sent him a petition alleging fraud. Today, the court has discharged and acquitted Mr. Oronsaye. Celestina Area, TVC News, Abuja.